Happy Sunday. This is Simon with AvaTrade. We're back with our weekly webinar mapping out your week ahead. Special welcoming goes to new people, and for you, I will explain in 2 words what we're trying to do here. And what we're trying to do is simply create a plan for the week. And as traders like to say, you plan your trade and then you trade your plan. And I think this we can apply with every aspect of our lives. And a little bit of planning could be saving a lot of headache. So what we're trying to do here is pretty much going through some fundamentals, some technicals, and make a plan to see how the week looks and what can we make out of it and how we can proceed. A few things about myself. My name is Simon Friedman. I'm a senior account manager with AvaTrade. I've been involved with trading for over 25 years. I started as a prop trader in New York City in June of 2000, and I left after about 11 years of doing it, and continued trading and mentor and educate others. I'm very happy to have this great opportunity to be assisting our customers at AvaTrade. The agenda of the webinar, as usual, we'll talk about indices, stocks, commodities, Forex, a little bit crypto for dessert. Risk warning, you can find a full statement at avatrade.com website. Of course, everything we do here is purely educational. We do not suggest any trades and we don't give any trading signals. Social media, please feel free to follow us on Telegram, X, and YouTube. I usually say that YouTube is my favorite. It has a huge spectrum of information there. You have tutorials, you have educational material, you have webinars, including this one. So if you missed the webinar or you think of missing a webinar, don't stress. The webinars are being recorded and posted on YouTube. So please subscribe, click on that bell so you'll be notified of new things coming in. Of course, don't forget to click on likes if you like it. Feel free to share with people that might benefit from this. And of course, if you have any feedback, any questions, type it and to the YouTube. All right, so before we go to the slides, as usually I prepared them. As you know, the highlight of the week was we finally out of that government shutdown. That was the longest in history, I think 43 days. And that in a way, it came as a happy news, but then it turned around because people are uncertain about the numbers. Are we getting the numbers? Are the numbers coming out? Will be disappointing? Are we getting rate cut in December? So as a result, the probability, we'll take a look at the actual numbers when we get there, but it looks like probability of December rate cut decreased to below 50%. Also, the Bureau of Labor Statistics said that they would release the September job reports on Thursday. Let's see if that happens. And the White House said that the October numbers, we might never see the CPI numbers and the jobs report. So more uncertainty, market doesn't like it. We saw how shaky the market was towards the end of the week. We'll take a look at the charts. We had US indices, S&Ps and NASDAQ. We had 2 consecutive negative weeks in a way. We'll take a look how it looks. All right, so let's just go through a few slides. These are from Barron's. Here it is, December rate cut odds fall as the split among Fed officials widens. And it says, I'm going to read the second paragraph here. Yet Fed Chair Jerome Powell's warning in October that policymakers were driving in the fog reflected more than the government shutdown, which eventually stretched to 43 days. Even as federal agencies delayed the publication of economic data that helped guide the Fed's policy moves, the debate about rate cut inside the Fed began to shift. Market now sees less than 50% chance of December cut compared with the near certainty placed in last month. So as we see, things are not so clear. This is an interesting article. There are a few points here. Stocks are caught up in powerful rotation. Here's what could drive us. And it says right here, the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.3% the week, while S&P gained 0.1 despite the volatile week. Investors are switching up what they want to buy, with the healthcare and energy sectors up 5.2% and 4% respectively. In November, while information technology fell 3.8%. Watching 10-year yields, treasury yields, it could be point of inflation scare, and we saw Bitcoin falling, right? So these are the key points in a way. And we'll take a look at the Dow Jones. Dow Jones actually was stronger than others, and one of the reasons I was trying to track what was the reason is going higher because of the healthcare stocks. There was one day we had one of the healthcare stocks moving higher, and Dow Jones jumped with it. Here's a crypto article. Bitcoin plunge means trouble beyond crypto, how to protect your portfolio, and also the key points here. Bitcoin has fallen 24% since October 6, affecting top brokerages like Robinhood, Coinbase, and Interactive Brokers. Shares of Robinhood, Coinbase, and Interactive Brokers have been declined of approximately 4%, 7%, and 5% respectively over the past 5 trading days. Some analysts compared the current market fraud in brokerage stocks to the late 1990s, raising concern about potential further declines. And here we have some news from Berkshire Hathaway. I think this is the last quarter of Warren Buffett being the CEO, right? So here's some action. As we know, this information is powerful because every time Berkshire Hathaway or personally Warren Buffett makes a decision, we see the market follows it. So here are the things what was done. Berkshire Hathaway bought Alphabet shares in the third quarter. Here's what it sold. So he bought 4.3 billion worth of Alphabet, Google, right? Shares in the third quarter, according to the company's latest 13F report. The filing released on Friday detailed the firm's equity holdings in the U.S. listed securities as of September 30th. Alphabet made 1.6% of Berkshire's portfolio by the end of September. The firm didn't own any Alphabet shares as of the end of second quarter, so this is the new buying, right? Berkshire also bought holdings in insurance company Chubb, valued at 1.2 billion, boosting its share in the portfolio to 3.3%. In the third quarter, this is the selling. Berkshire sold 10.6 billion worth of Apple shares, 1.9 billion worth of Bank of America. We heard about that before, right? And 1.2 billion worth of holding of VeriSign, that provided domain registry services, the report showed. All right, so what do we take out of it? We probably see Google gaining some strength, Apple probably get a little weaker, and Bank of America get a little weaker, and so on. Now, here's the Fed's numbers, right? Here we go. So 1 month ago, the probability of the cut was almost 100%, 94.2%, exactly a month ago, October 16th. A week ago, it was around 66.9%, and now we're at 44.4% probability. As you know, as you could see, the probability of the rate cut is shrinking. All right, moving to economic calendar, and I must say a few things to new people that are not familiar with it. Economic calendar, it's an important aspect of fundamental information. And every trader should know about these things ahead of time so you can avoid being caught by surprise by certain spikes in the market or moves in the market that you didn't expect. So it's public information. You can access it on our web trader or the app, or just Google it. What I do here, I take out only high impact events. There's so much more, so you can browse through it and pick and choose whatever applies to your trading. And the times here, I choose a GMT, kind of universal time. So these are the things that are coming up in upcoming weeks. So Monday, we have GDP numbers from Japan. We have CPI numbers from Canada. Tuesday, we have a meeting minutes from Bank of Australia. Wednesday, we have CPI numbers from UK and FOMC minutes for last meeting. That's going to be interesting. Maybe we'll get some clarity of that disagreement of the Fed in upcoming decision. Friday, retail sales from UK, PMI numbers from Germany, PMI numbers from European Union, PMI numbers from UK, and we have Swiss National Bank chairman speaking on Friday as well. So that's all Friday. Now, remember, I mentioned something that I found from the sources that we could be getting September job numbers on Thursday. It doesn't show here, so maybe they'll just announce it. Okay, so that was Friday, and then Saturday we have President Lagarde speaking twice. All right, so these are the things important to know, especially certain things like FOMC events, chairmen of banks speaking, and so on. This week we don't have any interest rate decisions, right? That's important as well. All right, winners and losers as usual for the week. These are the futures, right? So we have most of it is commodity, and then we have Bitcoin here. So on the positive side, we had sugar up 5.32%. Silver was up 4.69. Natural gas another 4.5% higher. Gasoline up 3.36. Copper up 188. Gold 186, and heating oil 175. To the downside, cocoa continues sliding aggressively. This week was down 11.61%. Bitcoin was down. We're talking about the futures, right? Bitcoin down 8.64. Coffee down to 85, and cotton down 154%. So we're going to take a look when we get to commodities and the Bitcoin. We'll see how it looks on the chart. All right, so let's move to the trading platform, and we'll start with indices as usual. China, take a look. China had a nice run here after breaking through this 15,240 level, and we hesitated to go higher. We came right back to retest that level, establish support, try to move higher, and we're back to testing. So now they're trying to test this 15,240. If we hold it, we're probably preparing for continuation to the upside. We are above 50, 100, and 200 moving averages. The Japanese index here, we had a nice journey to the upside, and then since this sell-off on the 4th of November, we are looking kind of south here, as you could see. The very next day we moved lower, recovered a little bit, and we kind of narrowing that channel here, and we tried to move higher, but we couldn't pass a half of that candle, which is not such a bullish sign, right? So in a way, this is our immediate resistance here around 51,500, and our support is around 48,900. Let's see how it works. Now, as we said, US indices, we're selling pretty much. This is the second red week here, and we did close on Friday below Thursday close. Now, sometimes traders use this strategy over the weekend, and I think I mentioned it a few times. If Friday close is below Thursday close, that Monday they're expecting to have a down day. Again, that's just the opinion of some of the traders, and they're expecting the market to reach Thursday's low. That's one of the strategies. So let's see if that works. Similar situation here in NASDAQ. We had Friday low below the Thursday's low, and also, the close was below the Thursday close. Also, low was below the previous day's low. So let's see if that strategy will actually manifest on Monday. Dow Jones actually had a nice spike to the upside. I think that's with the opening, and then we moved lower. Sorry, this is the weekly chart. I'm confusing myself. I apologize. So we had this spike in the week. We made all-time high, and then we moved lower. And we are sitting or testing this 50-day moving average. We'll try a few times, starting somewhere here in August, then again October, and then November. We're trying to break that. So far, we are holding above the 50-day moving average on Dow Jones. German index, 2 consecutive days to the downside. As you could see, that resistance around 24,500 is holding. It started to play here, then all the way to this past week. So we having a very strong resistance here around 24,500. Right, we did close below 50 and 100-day moving average. If we continue sliding, we might test the 200, and then the next support is around here, 23,438. We had a double bottom here before making a high, so we could be on the way to retest that level. The UK index was very strong until the past 2 days. So you could see here, it was a big sell-off on Thursday. We raised the previous 3 days, and Friday we continued lower. So it looks like European and US indices and China and Japan, they're pointing to the move lower, possibly this upcoming week. That's as far as indices. Let's move to stocks, and of course we'll start with NVIDIA, as Goldman Sachs, or I guess that's what they used to call it, the most important stock on earth, right? NVIDIA. So you could see here a lot of actions. We had a recent all-time high at the end of October, beginning of November. I think the peak was 212.04 on October 29th. Then we are moving lower, and we are testing here the 50-day moving average. It looks like we did gap down on Friday, but moved higher. So NVIDIA is fighting, doesn't give up. So NVIDIA holding, and we did close below 189.90. So we'll follow and watch what's happening in NVIDIA. Now, Netflix, as you know, the split it was announced, and on Monday, Netflix will open already post split. It's 10-for-1. So just to explain, if somebody had 100 shares of Netflix, they're going to have 1,000 shares of Netflix, of course, with the price lower by 10 times. So let's take a quick look. So Netflix closing price was around 1,011. So if it opens the same price, so the new shares would be priced at around $111, and that's going to be with the opening of the market on Monday. Let's see if it helps Netflix attract more shareholders. Lately, as you could see here, the price was moving down. We start making lower lows and lower highs here. We broke through 200-day moving average, came right above, and then Friday moved lower again with the selling market. So that's Netflix. Let's take a look at the Magnificent Seven. Let's see how they look. Now, Apple, remember that news is going to be all over the place now that Warren Buffett is selling Apple. So let's see if we'll have some sell-off. Apple's been strong, if you remember, since they announced the strong sales of a new iPhone line. So let's see how Apple works out the upcoming week. Amazon, It's been selling after making the peak here. Looks like we closed the gap on Friday. It all depends, of course, what the market will be doing, but we did close that gap. So hypothetically, if the market were to begin strong, we might see the pop in Amazon. Microsoft doesn't look so strong. We had a lot of accumulation here in the narrow channel. They moved higher and it came right below that. Google, as we saw that Warren Buffett is buying Google pretty heavy. Meta is not looking so great here, as you could see. We had a gap and continuation to the downside. I think Meta looks the weakest out of the whole Magnificent Seven group. So if we continue lower here, we might come to this gap around 570 possibility. That's on Meta. Tesla as well, after having a double top here, we hit on the 3rd of November. Since then, we've been selling. We broke through 50-day moving average. We're on the way to possibly test 100. So these are the big guys. Now banks, right? Just to remind us, banks are very sensitive and a big indication what's happening in the market. As you could see here, Thursday we sold. Friday we opened with the gap and closed lower with Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, similar story. So it's really strong reaction here on the high volume on the selling of the banks. Bank of America right here, right? Also Buffett adding to the selling of the stock. Here we go. We had the support here. Sorry, resistance here. They became support. So far, it is holding as that support around 52.5. Citigroup as well. So the banks will continue watching. We'll see if that selling wave is continuing, or we might find the support somewhere turn around. So that's on banks. Now, something that I've realized, Oracle, we didn't speak about. Remember Oracle? One day it was just jumping with a huge gap on earnings, and that was back in September. Since then, we've been making lower lows, lower highs, and we came right to 200-day moving average around 209, 210, and then we bounced on Friday. So this is very important to spot these levels, right? This could be support. We had some actions here before moving higher. We came right back, and the buyers came in. So it could be that Oracle reached a level where it is attractive again for buyers, right? That's on Oracle. And the last one I wanted to mention that we didn't talk about it for a long time. We used to speak about it a lot. Teva Pharmaceutical. If you remember, we started talking about it around $7, $9, $13. Just want to show you, right? I remember I was saying we've been trading between 7 and 11, then we moved higher. And as you could see here, Teva has been super strong. And why am I talking about it today? You take away the monthly chart. I'm going to bring the MT4, it looks better here. Teva Pharmaceutical monthly chart. Take a look. We just retested the level of August 2018. This was the high right here. August of 2018, the high was 25.95. And we just hit the high of 26 something, 26.34, bypassed by 30 something cents and reversed. So this is very, very important. Again, similar to Oracle, to the flip side on the support, we're facing here in Teva resistance. Let's see how we deal with it. If we break and start establishing support, we might continue stepping up. Right, so that's on Teva Pharmaceutical. All right, that's as far as stocks. We'll move to commodities and we'll go through the list of winners and losers, as we mentioned before. We'll start with sugar. Sugar had a strong week. 5.3% to the upside, and that's after 5 consecutive weeks of sell-offs. As you could see here, just broke through the previous resistance here, 1468. This could be a beginning of a reversal or continuation of reversal. Let's see. Hypothetically, they might try to bring it back close to this level, 1468, just to check this level, maybe establish support, or it could be they would just move higher, or it could be we come right back down. Everything's possible, but this was a very strong move closing towards the highs. So that's on sugar. Silver was super strong. Even with the sell-off on Thursday and Friday, the week was still strong here. We tried to make a double top here. On Thursday, we hit the high 54.38. Then we went lower, and then Friday we sold. So in any event, even with that sell-off, silver finished the week higher, 4.69%. Natural gas is super strong. We mentioned a lot of times that it's not an easy instrument to trade. Sometimes it sucks the traders in and then does a very cruel reversal and then continues. So here, take a look. We had a strong beginning of the week and continuing higher, closing at $4.50. And on the daily, we had Friday finishing lower. We see also something they called a golden cross, 150-day moving average is crossing about above the 200, which for some traders and investors is a sign of or a signal to buy, possibly. So natural gas strong, up 4.5%. Gasoline as well had a nice week. We closed above 100-day moving average. We could be on the way to retest this triple top at around 204. Let's see if that works. Copper had the positive week, up 1.88%. And it is, if you create the Fibonacci here, it's been sitting, playing around 50% retracement. As you could see here, went from 38.61, 38.61, and the middle right here is 50%. We're really holding that level, which makes it hard to trade. At least we know the channel here between 38 and 61, but it's right in the middle, could go anywhere from this point. So copper up 188. Gold, after scaring people out, it's been moving higher. 42.19 was the high, or no, forget about, disregard this last statement here. On Thursday, the high was 42.45, and we bounced right at that level, and Friday was sold. So we are holding strong here. The thing is, we had a lot of attempts here to break the high. Around the highest point so far was 43.79. Then we tried, and we had a sell-off here on the 21st of October. Now we tried to move towards that number. We had a high of 42.45, and it followed by a sell-off, which erased about 2.5 days of previous gains. Now, technically, which pretty much been making since then, lower lows, lower highs. Then we made a higher low and a higher high, and then we're kind of in between. Now, in the big picture, we could use, again, I'm just giving you all the options that traders would be looking for. We had a trend line here, and let's see. Some traders like to follow the trend line. Every time we go higher, testing it in the future, they might be trying to place short orders, or the buyers might be looking for the breakout of that trend line. And we can do also, we can draw another trend line this way. So Now we are in the triangle here, and let's see which way we break, up or down. A lot of uncertainty in the markets with the Feds and the interest rate and data that could be coming, could be not, we're not sure. So let's see how gold plays here, right? So up 186% for the week. And the last one on the winners list is heating oil. It's had a strong week, the 1, 2, 3, 4th week to the upside, up 1.75%. All right, downside, cocoa. You could see here, we've been sliding pretty heavily here, right? Since we broke through 200-day moving average here, we've been testing it, failed to move higher, continue lower, failed to move higher, continue lower. Now we're way below 50-day moving average here. We had the whole week pretty much moving lower. That's in the weekly chart. And we're kind of in the air here, right? If we continue sliding, we could be easily coming to around 4,200 level here on cocoa, which is broke below 200-week moving average here. So a lot of downside pressure. If you remember, there was an upside pressure that was just flying up the same way. It's been sliding lower now. So cocoa down 11.6%. Coffee. Coffee had a few attempts to break through this 418, 419. This is the level from April 2025, the current year. Then we hit again, was sold, we hit again, was sold. But we are making higher lows here, right? So we could, it looks like we're trying to break through this, right? Every time we hit that level, the pullback is shorter, right? This was a long pullback. This was much shorter. This was even shorter, and this one is even shorter. So it looks like we're hitting that 50-day moving average and bouncing right back. On the weekly chart, it looks even better here, right? It looks in the week. Again, I'm just sharing what it looks. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen. Now we had a clear head and shoulder here, right? With the left shoulder, right shoulder, and the head here. The neck around current levels around 418. We could be breaking through it and moving higher or not. So that's on coffee, down 2.85% for the week. And cotton. Cotton's been selling. As you could see, every time we hit the 200-day moving average, we're moving lower, making lower highs and lower lows here. Let's see the higher time frame. As you could see here, a lot of actions, and if you were to draw the trend lines, clearly looking down, right? If we continue lower, we could be coming to these levels here, the level of week of March 30th, which with the low of 60.75, right? That's on cotton. And crude oil was not on the list, but we should be watching it as well. Here we go. The recent low was on October 20th, 55.96. We moved straight to 50-day moving average in 3 sessions. A lower, a higher low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So it looks like every time we hit the 50-day moving average, the sellers are coming to this selling action here. All right, here we go. All right, so that's that completes the commodities and the winners and losers within it. Let's take a quick look at Forex. We start with dollar index. Dollar index been strong until this past week and a half, I would say. We did hit the previous resistance here from August, and that was around 200-day moving average, right here at the 100 psychological level. Since that, as you could see, this doji here tell us that maybe it's a reversal. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 session to the downside. Friday, a little bit of a bounce. So we're kind of in between the 200 and the 50-day moving average, somewhere in the middle. All right, let's see if we move lower, we could probably find some support around this level here, from which we just made this last move to the upside around 98.40. If we move higher, going to face the 200-day moving average resistance, and if past that, the 100 resistance would be on the way as well. So we're right in the middle, in a way, of this channel between 98.40 and 100, right? Let's go through the majors. Of course, euro dollar is just the mirror image. We're really facing the 50-day moving average here on resistance, and also the level from which we turned around 116.60s. Pound, after a recent sell-off, is trying to regain some posture here. We went below 130.45. Let's see the weekly chart. We can make something out here. We held the 50-week moving average here, right? So let's see what the pound will be doing next. What we did have here, it's the opposite of the golden cross, the dead cross, when 50-day moving average moves below, and that could be also not such a positive thing for pound. So we might see continuation to the downside. Aussie dollar, it did have a move with China, then correction to the 200-day moving average here. And let's see what will happen this upcoming week. New Zealand dollar is continuing looking weak, much weaker than Australian. It's been selling clearly here, huge sell-off, and continue making lower lows and lower highs here. Dollar Swiss, we had a big spike here to the downside. So this could be our immediate support. Let's see this level from July, 0.7871. Then we had another retest moving higher, another retest moving higher, and bounced again. So this level here around 0.7870 looks like every time we get to this level, the buyer's coming. USD CAD has been strong, right? We've been making higher highs, higher lows here. Also, the golden cross here shows us some positive momentum to the upside. We had a peak here, the recent peak on the 5th of November. We hit 141.39. Since then, we moved lower, and we're holding this level, which was a previous resistance back in May. Now it plays a strong support around 140, 140.15. We are holding that level. And dollar yen, dollar's been strong against the yen. We've been holding strongly here. We are, if you remember, I mentioned when we hit this level, it could be a sell-off. We did actually sell a little bit, but now we are closed above the trend line, which could be a signal for continuation to the upside. And if we turn around and come below again, maybe we'll resume some selling pressure to the downside, right? So dollar yen, strong. Yen is looking weak across the board. Let's just take a look at yen against other currencies. Pound, even pound, which was weak, stronger against the yen. Australian dollar facing resistance here. CAD, even CAD, strong. So yen has been super, super weak. Swiss franc is beating yen and is safe haven heavily. Super, super strong moves. So yen, clearly, it looks very, very weak. Euro, even New Zealand dollar, which looks super, super weak against the dollar, is advancing against the yen here. So yen is weak. We have some data from Japan, as we saw this week. Let's see if anything changes. All right. So that's as far as as far as Forex. And let's take a quick look at cryptos. As we saw in this slide, Bitcoin's been sliding. We did break below $100 or $100,000, right? There was first closing in a while that happened on the 13th. The very next day, the sellers came in, pushed it even lower. We had the low of 93,941, and now over the weekend we're trying to bounce a little bit. So of course, if we are moving higher, the checkpoint at 100K would be in play. Let's see how that works out. XRP is holding much better than Bitcoin. Of course, we are above the $2, and let's see if we manage to come out of this on XRP. All right, so I think that completes our webinar. Just try to put it all together. We'll see what we have as far as data released this week. As we said, the Department of Labor, they promised on Thursday to release September numbers, jobs. Let's see how that works out. We have one more important thing. I started with NVIDIA, but I forgot to mention NVIDIA is reporting earnings on Wednesday, right? So that's very, very important. I started with it. Now I know why I started with it. I just forgot to mention very important thing. On Wednesday, NVIDIA is reporting, all right? Let's see how this end of shutdown plays out. Is it more positive than negative, or vice versa? And I want to wish everyone a great and successful week. Enjoy the weekend, build up your energy, prepare yourself for the intense week. And of course, I want to wish everyone a successful and profitable week. All the best. Take care.